How's it going, everyone? And welcome to this week's video, the continuation from our last one, I suppose. So last week we were talking about the Apex update. Season 7 on Ascension, all the patch notes that were coming out, in theory, how are things going to work, and kind of how we thought about it. We've actually had a chance to play it several times, even actually won some. Now that we've actually seen how this update is going to be, it's a case of, I feel like we should talk about it. I suppose, first off, the most important thing, I feel, being the Scottish fellow that I am, Horizon's accent. We should start there. Credit to Respawn. They actually got a Scottish voice actress, to do it. It's good. It's very embellished, I feel. We don't sound like that. But for people who aren't from Scotland, for some reason we always really emphasise our accents, and we start talking like this. We don't. That's not at all how it goes. But when it comes to games and characters and stuff, that's what we do. So that's what they've done, and it's good. It throws in words that we know that I can't imagine anyone else does without context. For example, one of the things when you get off the Trident with Horizon is she turns around and says, watch out for Bahookie burns, Newt. You guys ain't gonna know what a Bahookie is unless you're from here. Bahookies are arse. It's arse burns as you jump out of it. We, as in W-E-E, not we as in a group. We as in little. We throw that in front of everything. It's always thrown into stuff. She does it as well. There's, a wee bit unladylike. Your ma. That's a good one. It's not mum. Or mom. It's your ma. It's your ma and your dad. It's two of the things. So yeah, your ma's about to get a wee bit unladylike. Is one of her actual voice lines. It's great. I have to say, as a Scotsman, I appreciate the fact that Respawn actually got a Scottish person to do it, rather than getting someone to fake it in a Scottish accent. Because some of them are terrible. I suppose Horizon really is where you start. Even once we get away from the accent and the silliness, into an actual serious discussion, Horizon's really good. She's a lot of fun to play as a legend. You're talking... Her passive is a little bit weird. But basically what it allows you to do is drop from a very great height and not shatter your legs. Now, fall damage isn't a thing, but you can see every single character land and crunch. There's that recoil as they go down before they can start going again. Horizon, nope, she just drops and goes. No problem whatsoever. She just runs. It's great. Her tactical is very useful, which basically generates like a gravity lift, or reverses a gravity field, so it allows you to float up, or anyone else for that matter, and then it kind of ejects you when you get out of the field. But it allows Horizon a really fast reposition. So she can basically run out in a fight, drop this thing, shoot up onto a roof, and she's now got the height on everyone else. And the cooldown is like 8 seconds without a gold helmet. This thing just recharges so quickly, they can use it over and over and over again. And anyone can use it, and then it jumps you forward a bit. So it's quicker than Octane's jump pad, and it recharges faster than Pathfinder's grapple, and allows you to get to positions that people just can't get you, unless they also have that ability. Her ultimate, that can work really well. Team came at us, 2 came through the stairs, one of them wasn't quite with them. Black hole went down, they got sucked in, load of grenades, emptied into the black hole. They were dead. They were melted before the third one even got there, and they barely touched us. So if you can do that ultimate well, it actually is really, really useful. We want to try combining it with Caustic. We haven't quite managed yet, because we usually don't have a third player. It's usually duos that we're working with. But yeah, black hole, caustic gas, they can't go anywhere, they choke out, and you just shoot them, yeah, you're fine. Olympus, as a whole, on the map, Olympus is great. Olympus is so good. I like King's Canyon. I've always liked King's Canyon. It was a fun map. The changes they made to it. I miss Relay. That was one of my go-to spots. It's still a little bit of it there. I quite often land. Then they released World's Edge, and to me it didn't work. I get what they were trying to do, in that they were wanting to encourage long-range engagements, was the term that they used. Sniper rifles. They wanted sniper battles, and they brought out that godforsaken gun, the charge rifle, which was shithousery personified. It was just a shitbag weapon. You give it to someone, and they just fire, and it doesn't matter if they could headshot you or not, they just could hit you whilst you were moving. With no bullet drop. So you put like a 410 digital threat and you were getting shot at from the other side of the map and didn't know. And we're still getting killed. It was a shithouse weapon. They made some changes, and it kind of got there. To me, Olympus is so good. It's the new map. Like, obviously it's the new map, but I mean, it's the new map feeling. Like, ooh, new map, let's go see. And it's actually really good fun. It is fluid. It's bright. It's got a lot of different levels. So there's a lot of going downstairs, but there's lots of buildings to get up into. There's some skyscrapers, but you can still jump down to the main floor. All set in the clouds, so if you get it wrong, you're just going to your death. It's a very good map. Respawn have done tremendously well with this map. That it is fun to play regardless. However, with that being said, moving on to an area in which they didn't do so well in, is the Trident. The Trident's a good idea, but it hasn't worked. We tried putting Rampart's turret on it. We tried putting Sheila's turret on it, and oh my god, it's so hard to aim. Like, it's non-existent. You can zoom in and try, but you're relying on your driver holding it steady. They are not, in my experience. My driver's terrible. It's really loud. Like, you can hear that thing coming from so far away that as soon as you're approaching a team, they're already turned and pointing their guns at you before you get there. It's not like they need to pick their shots. I'm kind of here, I'm on the side, I'm like slightly hunkered down as I'm shooting at you, and you have to try and hit me. Nah, you just spray the car and it deals a portion of the damage to you. So, like a 301 bullet is 13 damage, I think, per bullet. Each person will take 9. So it's reduced, but they'll still fire. What players are doing is arc star it. Just a couple arc stars, and you're fucking up an entire team. You're killing an entire team. So yeah, that damage thing, how loud it is, the inability for it to really do anything. It's good to go, oh no, we're about to get burned by the ring sting. We should run. That's what it's good for. It's good to get out of the ring, and that's it. The replicators, they've changed them. That was nice. That was good. So what they did with the replicators is they took away the weapons, they introduced the shield batteries. So much better. So much better. The fact that the RNG is already a fairly major part when you land. And then there was a possibility that, oh good, there's actually now one weapon less. No, I need that weapon when I land, in case there's someone on me. And you're taking away one less weapon that might spawn there. Thanks for that. They've gotten rid of it, given in the bats. You can just go make a battery, make a medkit. You can make your big meds, and you're good. Personally, I think it's a great change. I don't know how many people agree with me, but I think it was. One of the things I was quite scathing of in our last video about the update was the change to the package lights. So the replicators, the care package, and the lifeline package. And that their colour scheme was questionable. I still stand by that it should have been slightly more distinct changes. A big red beam in the sky, that's going to draw your attention. They didn't, they went with a light tan. It's a little bit hard to see. You can see it, but a more distinct colour would have been better, but it's not as bad as I expected. The blue and the teal, slightly similar, but that green tinge does make a difference. So they're not too bad. How the changes work with the characters. One of the big changes for Bangalore was they reduced her ultimate by a couple of seconds, the detonation time, not the overall ability. Oh, that's noticeable. As soon as that thing drops on you, you run. You spread. It comes in and detonates quite quickly. So that's a good change. That's made Bangalore a lot more offensive with that ult. Because you did have a good amount of time. 6 seconds is noticeable. It's fast and it's noticeable. So they're going to come at you. Caustic, his gas damage has been increased. Again, that's quite noticeable. And the blur effect is useful. But like most people, you see the gas, you just don't go into it unless you're Caustic. I go around it. I go over it. I'm Horizon. Who needs to be inside the gas? Just vault it. Mirage is great. Mirage has buff is very broken to start with. I think people are starting to catch on to it. But in that initial kind of week that we've been playing, as those decoys are deployed, people are thrown because they're shooting things and there's a damage reg. But it's not you. So it sounded really broken when we read about it. Playing it, in reality, the way that they've actually balanced it is his ultimate doesn't deploy in the same ways it did. So you would puke out the Mirages, you would puke out the decoys, and they would move with you. Now they don't, or there's a delay before they do. So if you use it to escape, there's a bunch of decoys doing one thing, and then there's this one random guy running off this way. Alright, we'll leave this lot alone, and we'll just go shoot this one. Because that's the guy. That's all you need to do. So, it's much more offensive. Again, it's not about being able to run away and reposition. That Mirage's ult is very much jump into a fight, bamboozle, hit them. Hit them really hard. So as Mirage, you want more of a close range weapon. Shotgun, SMG, or just really, if you're one of these people that can hit your shots with whatever weapon you choose, then ignore everything I'm saying. But yeah, he's much more of a jump into the middle of a fight and deploy it. One of the pairings that we found to be quite successful when we're playing together is Horizon Octane. Very fast, very maneuverable, easy to get around. The Octane buff has doubled his health regen, so rather than it being 0.5 per second, it's 1. It's quick. It's really quick. It's really noticeable. You get into a fight, you maybe just recharge your shields, run, you're fine. The health regen combined with the stim, he's quite strong now. But he still doesn't bring anything from a team dynamic. He is still just for himself, I suppose is the best way to put it. He's a one-on-one fighter. And one-on-one, he'll do it. He will melt people, but he doesn't add anything to the actual team. They tried to make Loba less useful. Sorry, they tried to make her more useful. She's useless. She's still useless. She's a terrible, terrible hero. Legend, wherever the term is from. Apex Legends, she's a legend. It's a terrible, terrible legend. She's a thief, right? And everything she does is really loud. Like, she's the worst thief ever. As soon as she's trying to steal something, I know where she is. As soon as she deploys her black market, I can hear it. I can see it. As soon as she tries to move somewhere to reposition, I can see it and hear it. What kind of thief gives away their position from every single direction? No good thief does that. A good thief is quiet and can get in and out without being seen. That's what her stuff should do. Her ability should reflect the fact that she's a thief. And it doesn't in this. The changes that they've made and that they keep trying to make to her is going in the wrong direction. Like, the bracelet, good idea, but it should be more like a callback. So how Revenant drops his ultimate, and if you die, you go back. Loba's should be deploy, run in, and if something happens, she can teleport back to it. Not a death thing, you still have to activate it. Which means if you get caught out, you don't get to go back. That's how her tactical should be. It shouldn't be a reposition. It shouldn't be throw it and sit there and wait till it reaches where you want to. And then when you get there, you need to put it back on, and then you need to pull your gun out after there's a big beam of light and all the noise. Like, no, that doesn't work. It needs to be something subtler. Her abilities need to be something subtle, because she's a thief. And instead, it's someone who's very loud and draws all the attention. So at the moment, Loba is still completely useless, because they're trying to play her off as something that she's not. They're doing something very odd with her, I think. Ramparts change, yeah, that works pretty well. The walls going up quicker are useful. But the thing that we noticed, it wasn't overly substantial, shall we say. The thing that got me the most was with the Sentinel upgrade. So, the Sentinel, for those of you who are not so particular about the updates and are just kind of want to see what people's opinions are on the update, is they up the damage from 70 to 88 when it's charged. Now, what we realised, whether or not this is deliberate, a glitch, an oversight, I don't know. If you charge it, fire through a rampart, it does about 150, 180 damage to a head. I think it was about 150, 160. Except, let's say we've probably all got that guy who you can play with, who's a reasonable shot. He can hit a few bullets, things like that, but he can't clutch a fight. But he is your guy that will soften them up. He's the assister. If you're looking at this and thinking, I don't know that guy, it's probably you. I know, because it's me. I'm that guy. I can go games without kills, but I've got a lot of assists. So, use them, hit a few shots, and then this big charge shot from the Sentinel through that rampart barrier hits them. And let's say they've got a purple shield. Right? That's 100 hit points on top of your actual hit points. And let's say that I've put it down to 30. I haven't broke them. I've hit a few shots. That charge shot is going to hit their shields, and anything that is over the shield damage just gets done to their health. It carries over. So it's not a damage to their shields, it is a straight up bullet hit. Charged through the rampart. Barricade. That's them dead. So I hit a few shots to reduce their shields, and then bang, they're dropped. And Horizon, we got up high. We dropped those, and that was it. We just melted some people. It's an interesting one. The R99, we got that back. And yeah, it's an alright gun. I mean, it was always an okay gun. That was the thing about it. It was decent damage, sprays like a motherfucker, you need a mag. I picked it up the first time. I hadn't used the R99 for a while and kind of forgot about the recoil and shot the ceiling. I got used to it again, and I can shoot a little bit better. It works. It's used quite a lot because of its damage output. You put some decent attachments on, it's always going to work because you can spray it. It's the reason they put it in the care package last season, was because it's kind of broken. The kitted weapons, they're an okay choice. I've not had too many of them. Your Havoc uses a 1-2 variable. Not a sight I would use. Doesn't work for me. The G7, as I thought it would be, it's a 2-4 ACOG. Doesn't work for me. I'm sure it does for others, but for me it doesn't. The Sentinel, they put a 410 on the Sentinel. That's a terrible scope for that gun. You want something 2, maybe 3. You do not want a 410 on that gun. It is not a good scope. So yeah, like we thought in the previous video, all those scopes are not the right things for us. So it wouldn't make me take them when I can get my own weapon that's better. I'm not going to take this kitted one because it's not got the things that I need. Again, I'm sure there are people that will take them. Me, not so much. One of the big things for us was the Hemlock change. So the Hemlock in Season 6 became quite a broken gun. Any decent player could put like a 1 or 2 times scope on that gun and just melt people. People could put the 3 times on it, and the range on it was still destroying people because it had very little recoil, 3-round burst, double damage on the heads. You pick your headshots, people can't recover from that. And if you're trying to peek, you take that volley, and then as you think you can get that next shot off and then get back in, the other volley's already been fired and is going to hit you, and that's you down. They changed the recoil pattern so that it was at least harder to use. And it works to an extent. It balances out a little bit. So, yeah, you're still breaking someone, medium range, but you can't long range it anymore. The recoil kind of curves up, so your shots are going wide. It does work. It reduces its range quite substantially, which is what they were going for. They said that themselves, that they felt like it was too much and they wanted it to have its range reduced a little bit. And by doing the recoil pattern, totally worked. One of the other things I was quite excited for was the quick draw. It sounded really good, really fun. It didn't work for me. There are better weapon choices without that. Saying that, the guy I play with used a Wingman RE45 combination, both of them with quick draw, and did very well. Did very, very well. So, it's viable. It just didn't work for me. But it does seem to suit. And I suppose the last thing, before we kind of sum it all up, that I noticed is just a tip to anyone who maybe hasn't discovered this yet. The rift area of the map, which is basically a gigantic orb, and inside it is a smaller orb, is generating its own gravitational field, which will suck you in and throw you through a portal. This happened when it was us on our team, and my wingman's dumbass got sucked through, leaving me against 2 people. He got back, it was fine. But one of the things that it does is it affects your bullets. So I had a Kraber, fired, the gravitational pull actually pulls the bullet. So when you are in that area and you're trying to long range your shot, you basically need to factor in the orb's pull to your shots. So I had mine straight line on their head, fired it, and it curved to the left towards the orb. If I was to sum up the season, the update, how they're doing so far, it's awesome. It's so much fun. The new locations, the new map, the new hero, the new weapon changes, everything about it is a lot of fun. And I have been playing it a lot when I'm not on stream. It's totally worthwhile checking out. If you've played Apex before, didn't get into it, maybe Season 3, 4, whatever, on World's Edge wasn't for you, try it Olympus. It's a good map. They've done well with this. Respawn are trying. And in the midst of this pandemic where there's a lot of people working from home and they're still made these changes, they're still getting things out, they deserve credit. Has the Battle Pass been a little bit grindy? I know this is a new topic that I'm now just talking about because I just kind of thought about it. Yes, it's a little bit grindy. But you still have your weekly challenges and your daily challenges. Rather than it giving you XP points, it gives you a star based on how difficult it is. So, yeah, it takes a bit more effort, but you can do it. I believe in you. Of course you can do it. Even casuals, even people like me who are not on it constantly and are just going to be dipping in and out every so often, you should get a decent chunk into it before the season's up. But everything is good. The trident needs a little bit of refinement. It's a good idea, it just doesn't quite work. Loba's shit. No way around it. Loba's terrible. But apart from that, everything else is good. I may end up going on about Loba quite a lot in any other videos that we do. I suppose the only thing to say after that is thank you for watching the video. If you like it, sub, do the liking thing, and be sure to check us out actually on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 3 o'clock. Yeah. I'd be quite happy if you were to join us there. Until then, enjoy yourselves. We'll see you another time.